everyone. Welcome to the next segment of my series on the Pythagorean Triangle. I'm Carol from Practical Mystic, ready to do part 7, which is going to cover number 3. As in previous videos, I'll be discussing how to interpret and analyze your own personal 6-pointed stars if you've been following along with me. And of course, today we're going to look at number 3, where it is positioned in the 6-pointed star, and we'll discuss how many or void of you have of the number 3 and where possibly we can find it in other areas of your chart, your grid. Now, as always, what I like to do, let's move some of these items here. I have some worksheets for you. What I like to do is to introduce to you and discuss with you the metaphysical aspects and the Pythagorean ancient schools of mysteries and how they looked upon the common numbers that we discuss in numerology today, because they have their bases in ancient wisdom. And I think it's important if you understand some aspects of that. I don't want to talk too much about it, but that's what I introduce to you every time we talk about a number. Here, number 3, the ancient sages called it a triad. We're going to discuss that in a little bit. Trinity, everyone, especially Christians, are familiar with the number 3 and what the Trinity represents. We might talk a little bit about that. And then Pythagoras called it the triangle. We will talk about that. But where I really want to expound on is the triad, because it correlates very much with those of you who are interested in the tarot. And I just want to quickly cover that aspect of what is known as a triad. Okay, in ancient mysteries, it was basically the threefold power of the Godhead. And that power was said to come down, be manifested into the 3 worlds. Those 3 worlds are depicted in the crown called the tiara of the Hierophant. The number 3 is very important in the Hierophant. You can see it here, the tiara, the 3 crowns, 3 layers, with also the trefoils, the little 3 pointed flowers that make up the crown. So basically that world, those 3 worlds, the world of formation, the world of emanation, and the world of creation are depicted in his crown. On another level, those 3 worlds are also depicted on his staff. But we're going to look at that more as the Trinity, as the body, the soul, and the spirit. That is also aspects of the 3 worlds, as well as how it is related to human beings. So on an esoteric level, we know that we have the physical body, we have the soul, and we have the spirit, the higher. Also make note that the number 3, also, in many other ways, is so important to the Hierophant, and how it relates very quickly here to the Pythagorean triangle is that the key, since the Hierophant is known as the master of sacred mysteries, having that number 5 in the center, the Hierophant is card number 5, very, very instrumental, important. We'll discuss that in later videos, but you can see how the number 5 connects all the numbers. So again, that correlation. Okay, one more step further is what I said earlier. Let's talk about the triangle or the trinity. When it comes to psychology and this particular Pythagorean triangle, there is aspects of how each human has 3 of those attributes, the qualities that are interwoven in each human being. And what are they? Well, if we look here at 147, that is considered the basic self, okay? If we look at 369, that is very important because that is the conscious self, the mind, the thoughts. And then the 2, 5, and 8 in this Pythagorean triangles is the spirit, the soul, the higher self, that union, the union of both together. So the reality is that let's look at the threefold nature of the human being and how they are interconnected, and how the Pythagorean triangle shows that within you, because this is your date of birth that we put into the triangle. And now you can see the basic self, the higher self, and of course you have your basic source, your conscious self, and then you have your higher self, all depicted within the triangle. And we'll talk more about that as we go further in, deeper in understanding the information that we get when we put our birthdays in the Pythagorean triangle. Okay, let's go back to the number 3 here. Get your own personal Star of David out, and we're going to walk through this together. Now, I also included here some keywords for the number 3. These are universal. There's nothing really esoteric about them. You can find them in any numerology books, but they are, and there's a lot of keywords, but these are the more conducive to understanding the reality of the Pythagorean triangle, where we want to get a little bit more spiritual than psychological. All right, so the 3 is versatility, activity, very important. 3 is very active. It is creative, and it is forceful. Now, I wrote down aspects. 3 represents aspects of self-expression, how you express yourself. But that also relates to how you think, because there's a thought that precedes an action. So the expression or action has to do with thought and logic. The other thing that I want you to note is the number 3 on the Pythagorean triangles is the gateway to the mind. Okay, let's go. If you have one number 3, then you find pleasure in helping others. You give of yourself and time freely. You have an excellent memory. You're good with your hands, very creative. You're practical and usually possess an optimistic viewpoint towards life. Having 1 3 is a blessing, a gift. It's good, okay? All right, having 2 number 3s, you find writing a creative outlet. Okay, why did I put that down? Well, if 1 has to do with logic and reason, and really thinking and thought, well, having 2 of those energies, you may find that Writing helps you clear your thoughts or put your mind in order or in a way of expressing it. You are gifted with using words. Creative ways of expressing springs forth from an active imagination, and you are kind and thoughtful. So 2 number 3s is good, but sometimes having a creative way of expressing yourself will really help bring balance and harmony. Okay, if we have 3 number 3s, you enjoy being mentally and physically active. May find it difficult to finish what is started because you lose interest in it, or your mind just jumps from one thing to another. Get overstimulated sometimes. Your mind has a tendency to be scattered. And when the individual possesses this energy, learning self-control and discipline is very important. Much ingenuity comes from their line of work because of that creativity and wanting to build a better mousetrap, if you will. These people are usually always advanced, wanting to improve, wanting to do it different, not wanting to stay in that little box of ordinary thinking or creating. It's usually something very ingenious, on the border of being geniuses too. Quite independent in thought, belief, and how things are. They are not team players. They usually like to work alone. They can be opinionated and strong-headed. Hard to make them change their mind. Opinionated and strong-headed certainly has to be tempered at times, and they may tend to daydream or be self-absorbed in their own mind. Remember, there's always shadow aspects of the good qualities of any 3 or of any number. Now we come to 4 number 3s, and I will tell you immediately that that is very rare. We will find 4 3s occurring 11 years from now with the date of 3/3/2033 or 3/30/2033, which is only 11 years away. We will have individuals born with 4 number 3s. Now, they live in their own world of ideas, imaginations, and usually in fear, because that imagination sometimes is not grounded in reality. It's really expanded. Different. It almost grows legs if they're not careful. They have a thought, and then all of a sudden it grows legs and goes in all different directions. Now, they like to be alone and live alone. They are argumentative, strong will and mind. Okay, that's enough said about the 4 3s or any, and of course you could add even more. If there's any individual out there with 5 3s, then you would take that to a higher level, which could be quite unbalanced and discerning. I've never ever met or worked with someone who's had 4 3s. The most that I've ever worked with in my practice are 3 3s. So let's say you have a missing number 3. Okay. Those with the missing number 3, number 1, don't panic in your triangle. You tend to see only the solid and the tangible. You're here to learn to discipline yourself a little bit more and be more organized and use your head and your memory, because number 3 has to do with memory, imagination. They may also find it difficult expressing their innermost feelings. They can't seem to get it into words, their thoughts, their dreams, and their insights. So they could be, again, have other arts, writing. They could be singers, they could be dancers, they could be scientists, they could be artists, and that is how they express and communicate. They may also lack confidence and not enjoy, chit-chat, social events that really don't interest them. And people may shy away from them because they may give out the energy of being disinterested or somewhat drabbed. Okay, now we can find avenues of getting that vibration, the cosmic force of the number 3. Number 1, if you have the following. If your life path number is a 3, if you are an Aries, Scorpio, Taurus, Gemini, sun signs, and as an astrologer, we would also look to see if you're not this sun sign, if you have planets in those signs, that would also help you with the 3. Now, also, you have that vibration coloring of a 3 if your life path number is a 6, because here you have a benefit number of number 3. So be advised, go back to that video that I did about the benefit numbers and understand how that vibration comes from that gift we spoke of as called a benefit number. So if you're a life path number 6, then you have a benefit number of the number 3. Also, if your date of birth, if you were born on a Tuesday, you have the benefit of the 3. Now I put an asterisk here because these are lesser energies of the 3. If you have 2 6s, or 9s in your grid. So that would mean that you don't have a 3, but you have a 6 and a 9. That helps a great deal. All right. Also, 4 or more 3s, if you do have them, may be tempered by having 2 1s or 4s, and of course just having 1 5 and no 6s would help temper if you had 4 or more number 3s or is working with someone who's have 4 or more number 3s in their chart. All right, everyone, that's it for this session. If you have any questions, of course, feel free to email me. Leave it in the comment sections. Let's go ahead and have some kind of dialogue of how you are enjoying or working through your own personal 6-pointed star, how that's working for you. I'd love to hear from each and every one of you, and I look forward to the next one as we're going to continue on this series till we reach number 9. Thanks, everyone. Have a great weekend. Bye for now.